electronic music, there's just so much variance and so many different people expressing themselves in so many different ways. When you listen to the subtle nuances in each song, you can tell the guy who's sitting there in the studio, you know, his blood, sweat, and tears, and you can hear it in every little instrument and every little thing that you didn't notice before. Like, that comes through in every single song.
Just hearing it in the clubs, like getting people moving, like people hooking up, that was just like the main thing for me too, like just the hot groove, you know, it just like brings everyone together, and there's like a wonderful love aspect to it. It gets you, unlike any other kind of music, it just evoked something in me that previous interests and genres of music like just didn't do for me.
In the clubs, you've got a huge build-up and you've got a huge crowd and everybody's there and everybody's dancing to the same beat, feeling the same thing. It's dance floor power, and it's power to bring so many people in one big crowd all together.
There's really so many different genres and so many different things you can do, and so many different crowds you can play to.
The Mod Club, I think it was like 3 years ago, and everyone was there, like Justice, Somi, Sebastian, Mehdi, all those guys, and it packed out huge and everyone went nuts. That night, something just like happened, something clicked. Like I saw dance music in a different way. I didn't like realize it could be as like aggressive and punk rock, and like through that, it changed my perception of that music.
As a kid, you heard like Prodigy and Daft Punk. That kind of infiltrated more popular avenues of like music consumption, like Much Music and MTV. When, you know, groups like Justice started to blow up, and it became kind of this bigger movement into kind of a mainstream university thing. And when you go to university, you start discovering like different types of music, more interesting types of music, start going to shows, start, you know, being 19 and able to go to clubs.
I first discovered electronic music back in probably middle school, high school. It wasn't really until I got to university in first year when I started going to bars and clubs. That's when I really started to see how powerful house music is out in the club and everything, and that's what really got me into it.
Around 96 or 97, I started watching a program on Much Music called ElectriCITY. The music that was featured on the show, at the time they were playing like the new Daft Punk, the new Basement Jaxx record when it came out, Remedy. Totally just blew my mind and totally changed my taste in music. I really started to explore new boundaries of music when I was exposed to that through that program.
The reason that I started DJing was I just wanted to hear what I wanted to hear, you know, and play this music for these people and have them hear it and experience it. I just love exposing people to this new sound, you know, and I just wanted like the music to be mine and to play it for people.
DJing was also about a year ago. I'd been producing since I was about 13. It wasn't really until I got serious about electro that I decided to take up DJing and treat it a bit more seriously. It's an expensive hobby to get into, but once you're serious, it's not hard to get gigs and to sort of build your reputation. This was mainly just me experimenting with how this program works or how this keyboard works, or researching different things online or listening to what other people say in interviews or behind the scenes studio, you know, issues of whatever magazine.
Bought a bunch of scratch records and just like started to make like cheesy mashups and stuff, like just by myself, like in my little studio den in my condo where I used to live. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago where I started to really crack down and, you know, say that like I gotta start like playing.
promoters and people who throw parties have heard our music, become fans, and then wanted to bring us out to DJ at their clubs, which has been great for us. We've played a lot of gigs over the past year, I think over 100. So I'm very thankful to all the blogs that have put our music up and have gotten our name out there. I think that it's definitely a great way to expose yourself and let the world hear your music.
From just the hype machine and blogs, I've been given a lot of opportunities from that. I mean, to think that a year ago was the first time I ever released any original music. Within that time, I've had offers from record labels, music publishing companies, touring. Now I'm releasing some music officially for download and to actually make money. The blogs and the aggregators make it a much more direct process to get your music out there.
Just by like collaborating with different people, I've been able to like get on mix CDs in like New York and one in Australia, as well as like get different contacts from like major artists such as like Crookers. They started listening to my tracks. It's also helped me toured as well. It's like I've helped develop contacts and exposure to those different areas to help me, you know, set up like a tour through North America.
I think that they definitely play a large role in getting exposure, whereas probably 5-6 years ago you wouldn't have had anything like that or any music on the internet. But I think it's really great for getting your name out there, getting new music out there, and just spreading awareness of the sound you're trying to make.
I would not have the same kind of buzz or popularity if it wasn't for any of these blogs or aggregators. I think the best part about it is that you can give away your music for free. The way I look at it is like in business, you have to invest and lose money to make money. You gotta spend money to make money. And with music now, you have to spend your own music in order to be able to make money from your music. And I think the more DJs and producers that are realizing that, the more they're taking advantage of the internet.
We live in this day and age, like they're all about the blogs, they're all about Hype-M, like that's where they're gonna find their music, that's where like the latest trends start.
The fact that we're on Hype Machine makes us a lot more attractive to local Toronto artists who want to work with us, who want to constantly come back and release things through us, because they know that by working with us, they automatically get that exposure to a much larger audience, and they can then leverage that.
Believe it or not, online music aggregators play virtually no role with Electro Toronto. We don't really think about online aggregators when we post tracks, and we don't really get much happiness or satisfaction from being associated with electronic music aggregators.
But it does a lot of good things for a lot of people. I mean, it's a good way to discover a lot of music. It's a good way to discover a lot of blogs. It's also kind of bad for the industry because, I mean, it promotes the idea that people can just post a song and not say anything about it, and then people will still see it on Hype and people will still visit their blog and you can get traffic that way. I mean, what we do is more about the journalism, more about the love for the music, the understanding for the music.